Let's start having some fun. Okay. Underneath here, which you're supposed to cut the cartilage away, you're going to find a grape-like structure. What's that grape-like structure called?
Factory bulb.
The factory bulb. And it's getting information from all these things here in which it detects the chemistry of the water. Taste, smell, and all that. Okay, and I really can't see much of that, so you need to show that. You need to show the nerve that comes back up here to the brain. You need to cut this open so we can see all the parts of the brain, and you're going to need to know the names of the parts of the brain and their function. Okay? Have you all cut that part?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go over here. We're going to see whether you pass or fail right now. Okay, what's that?
Olfactory bulb.
You got it. And then there'll be a nerve here that goes back up here called the olfactory nerve. Then we have,
Cerebral
Can you physically
hemisphere.
see it?
yeah,
Where?
see that right there? It goes from the olfactory bulb back. That's the olfactory nerve. Okay. Then we have this front part of the brain. What's it called?
Is it the hemispheres?
No, we have different hemispheres, but what's it called? Look it up. And this big part? Same as our big part.
Can't see
It's the frontal, is not the frontal part of the brain.
Yeah. Well,
Frontal lobe.
we've got another name for it than frontal because
Cerebellum.
most of our frontal brain handles a lot of the analytical things and abstract things. We don't think they do much abstract thinking.
That's the largest part of our brain.
Okay. And I'm going to let you all look up those parts. But right here, you see where it starts narrowing down, but it's still very thick? What's that called?
Medulla.
Well, the medulla would be down underneath it. This is the brain stem.
Oh,
Okay. What is the purpose of the brain stem?
transmit information down.
Yeah, but it's also a main part of your autonomous nervous system. Okay, if something happened and it killed this part of the brain on people, and they take them off the respirator, and they keep breathing, the heart keeps beating, they keep doing digestion, they still have insulin going in and out, they're still peeing, they're still pooping and all. That's all because the brainstem is still working. That contains all of the autonomous, in other words, that the body takes care of. For example, breathing is semi-autonomous because I can hold my breath. But what happens when I pass out? I'm going to start breathing again because the body is going to do that. So I can be brain dead and still be breathing. So that's going to be the brainstem, and then the brainstem is going to go into the spinal cord. Now coming off right in this area, right in here, and I want to say that's it, but it's awful masticated. We would see a nerve coming off right here called the vagus nerve, and that's the largest nerves that come off of the shark. Okay, here's the eye. Okay, you have muscles on the sides that help move it, and then this back part right in here, yeah, which we kind of messed up. We have an optical nerve. Now, you need to slice the eye open and take out the lens and take a look at the lens. Okay, y'all didn't cut this to show the muscles?
It's on the other side. It's on the other side.
Okay. Now look, these muscles go like this, and these go like that. What are these called?
Epaxiomyomeres.
Okay, and
Hypaxia.
hypaxial. Okay. Okay, let's go do the fun parts. What's this?
Excavation.
But there's another name for it. Nares.
Nares.
These specifically go to the olfactory bulbs. Okay. We have the opening of the mouth. What do we call this area in back of the teeth? It's the same as us.
Back of the teeth.
Back of the teeth.
The mouth.
Yes.
Okay. Everything from the teeth back, what do we call it? Or from the lips in?
Buccal?
No. It's called the buccal cavity.
Oh.
Okay? That, and even in us, all the way back to where the little uvula goes, that's the buccal cavity. It's where the food is chewed and prepared, and then it'll be swallowed down the pharynx. Okay. Somewhere before you get to the heart, the pharynx changes into the esophagus, and then it goes into the stomach. Okay. Now, did y'all cut open the gill? Yeah, here we go. I love a sharp knife. Just call me Jack the Ripper. Okay, look at the bottom of the gill. See that hard part? That's the cartilage. The cartilage is called the gill rake or raker. Some people call it a raker, some call it a rake. Its purpose is for support for the gill lamellae. The gill lamellae have to have something on it that'll give it support. And it's here that the exchange of gases occur. Now there are a few other things that exchange here, like some of your different ions, particularly sodium, magnesium. When you get too much, when the heart beats, it increases the pressure and it pushes them out through the gills. Okay. What do we call this cavity right here?
Also the same. No, is it also the same as in humans?
Yeah.
Thoracic?
Oh no, that's the section of the body. What do we call the cavity?
Oh.
Pericardial?
Pericardial cavity. Okay. What's this soft, bulby thing?
Heart?
Well, it's part of it, but what's the particular name of it?
Atrium.
Atrium. What's the hard part called?
Ventricle.
Ventricle. Okay. Now, what we have going out from it right here is going to be the dorsal aorta. We'll also have another one coming into it. I don't see it, which would be the vena cava, the superior vena cava. Okay, there's a line that goes between here and all the way across here, all the way across. What do we call that? We also have it.
Diaphragm.
Diaphragm. See, these are the first fish or first animals that have a diaphragm. Everything after them have a diaphragm, and its purpose is to do what?
Isn't it for
Expand for respiration.
Okay, it separates the pericardial cavity from the, and what's this big cavity here called? What's that part of your body called?
abdominal?
Abdominal. Okay, it separates it. Now, for us, we would have lungs up here also. And on us, we would find 2 lobes of the lung on one side and 3 lobes on the other side to accommodate the placement of the heart. Okay. But directly below the diaphragm, we have this really big organelle right here. What's it called? Yes,
Liver?
liver.
Well, that's what I said.
Oh, the thing is, you're saying it so low, I can't hear it. Okay, look, speak loud to me. I can hear. My hearing has been tested and it's kind of bad, but some frequencies I cannot hear at all. And other frequencies I can hear the least little sound. But if I'm only hearing a bit of it, I have to watch your lips to see what you're saying so I can tell what's going on. If you're talking like this, I really can't get what's going on.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm just telling you, speak up. Speak up. Okay, now, continuing on. What's this right here? Right there. It's on both sides, right there and right there.
Are we still in the
Well, actually, we need to cut that a little bit more. No, it's the kidneys. Yeah. See this part between here and there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the kidneys. Now you need to cut it and expose it a little bit more. But that's the kidney there, and that's the kidney there on the other side. Okay. Now, we have this big thing here called the stomach.
Right.
The top part is called what? If you see a pin in it right here,
Cardiac?
yeah, you can call it the cardiac. Some call it the pyloric, but it's also the cardiac. And this bottom part,
I thought it was divided into cardiac and pyloric.
well, this is what we call the gastric. Okay. And then it goes into a very narrow point back up here. Right here. You see how muscular it is? Right there? What's that called?
Pancreas.
Nope. Pancreas. Yeah, they have a pancreas.
Is that the spleen?
Nope. No, this is where it goes from the stomach to the small intestine.
Duodenum.
You got it. The duodenum or duodenum, depending how you want to say it. Here's what it does. It's a sphincter, and the sphincter does what? It closes and it opens. When it first eats, the sphincter closes until the food is digested. Then, as the system tells it it's digested to the point of being able to continue on, it'll open up and will let the food pass through. So if you see a pin in that, you put down duodenum, purpose to control the flow of food from the stomach to the small intestine. Okay. Now, also on the liver, and you really can't see it very well, I think these were farm-raised sharks because the wild ones have very large gallbladders. The ones that are fed processed foods, you know, like what we feed your fish tanks and all, they don't need much bile. It's not a lot of protein. And so they're saving money that way. And so it doesn't have much of a gallbladder. If you eat a lot of protein, you're gonna have a big gallbladder because the gallbladder is gonna produce bile. The bile is gonna be produced by the liver. It's gonna be put into the gallbladder and then it's gonna run down through some of these mesenteries here, particularly called the bile duct. I think it's this one right here. Okay, and it's going to go into the duodenum right at the point where it opens up and goes into the small intestine. Has a couple of functions. First one is to help the digestion of protein, and the second is the stuff coming from the stomach is very acidic, and the bile is very alkaline. So what does it do? Neutralizes it, so that the final product coming out is usually neutral or alkaline. Okay, then we go into the large intestine here. Okay, we call this large intestine, but we also call it something else, the valvular intestine. And that should be cut open.
Or was it the spiral?
Spiral, yeah,
Spiral something.
spiral valves.
Valves.
Okay, here we go. Now, these spiral valves cause the movement of food to go slower, but also these little separations here that are part of the valve allow for a much larger surface absorption, surface ratio. And then the food goes on out. Now, what do we call this area right here where it comes out? Cloaca. Cloaca has three purposes. What is it?
Urine,
Mm-hmm.
sperm, and
Feces.
feces.
Okay.
Excretion.
Okay, it's for excretion of feces, excretion of the urine, and also for reproductive purposes. Okay, what's this fin called?
Ventral.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure you remembered. Okay. What are these muscles called?
Apexial. Hypoxial. Apexial.
Okay. What's that?
Dorsal.
Okay. So, are you all ready for the test?
Yeah.
You sure?
A little more review, yes.
Yeah, I would say a lot more review.
I got most of them.
Well, good.